Hi everyone, this is Daryl Davey with Oak and Hollow Games down in the Games Workshop, and I'm here to say that we are having some printer problems. I touched on it a little bit ago on my last video. I'm sorry again for all the postings. This time is usually very exciting for me, so I like to post lots and lots of stuff as it goes through, so you get to see all the steps and kind of keep track with me as we go through. And naturally, part of success is some failures, and right now the prints are starting to fail. So in the last video I had talked a little bit about my first printer screen having some blank spots, and it happens as natural. I tried a couple different things, but I can physically see where light isn't coming through when I do like a couple different test things, and I was able to print off instead of having a full plate, only half was printing, so I could still do some things, and technically I can still do that. And the other one was working just fine. As of last night, I had one failure of a print. Is like one piece, two pieces missing, which isn't super uncommon. You probably every fourth or fifth print, something fails. It's just part of it. It's nothing you can really control. It's just something goofy had happened in that print. Then a test print, which failed drastically. I only had like 3 or 4 pieces print off of my second one, and this last one only had maybe 3 or 4 as well. So I'm really hoping it's not another screen, because my first one is out until probably late July, out to maybe early August, which isn't ideal when wanting to launch in July. But again, I was down to 1 and it was functioning well, and I could pick up the pace a little bit with half of it. If it's the case that they are both out, then I'm going to have to think about maybe splitting the launch into two different groups. I'm over the hump, as I mentioned before, where we have at least 15 games, probably close to 17 at this point. If it is a similar situation where I can use part of the plate, I can do like half prints on both, or kind of find where those weak points are and try and hobble it together just to get some stuff out as we go. I'd probably just print like a small group of just wizards and a small group of just clerics, and do the same on the other one, and just try it that way. It's tedious, and I don't want to wreck anything in the course of it. So one is completely cleaned up and down, because that one for sure has the screen problems. This other one, I cleaned off the print plate. One of my daughters is down here, and she is... Do you want to come and say hello? No? Alrighty. Hanging out with me down here. Anyways, the other one, I see no black spots. I've cleaned and readjusted the print plate. I'm hoping maybe just after numerous prints and scrapes, it just got off a little bit, and I am able to then flatten it out, and it should hopefully be good. After that troubleshoot, I'm using new resin. The FEP screen, FEP, doesn't look damaged in any regards. Maybe I could try switching that out. Be a fun video to do. I've done it once before, but I don't know if it's necessary. I don't want to if I don't have to, because these ones have lasted a while. Now, the thing with the printers is the screens do die eventually. They are relatively easy to fix. They're not terribly expensive, more than I want to spend often, but the second printer I have, this is the first screen I'll be replacing on it, so it's not without the realm of possibility that it's been used. I for sure printed everything in this run, a bunch of test figures for Skirmish, All Hallows Eve, getting some extra stuff out, Capture the Flag. What other things have I made figures for? Tons of little side projects in between, and then the entire run of All Hallows Eve last one, and probably a bit. Like, I bought a second one because my first screen was kind of going bad. So So probably at least 1.5 runs of All Hallows Eve, a half run of Skirmish, and then all the little prints in between. So when it's on, it's beaming that light out, it's naturally going to get used up. And I don't remember what the exact hour life is for these things or not, but it was probably at the end, near the end of its life. It's just a bummer that it's in the middle. Also, being Amazon Prime days, I think that's part of what's slowing down the delivery date. All my other stuff, which is the fun part of this video, I'll talk about, is starting to come through today and tomorrow. Since I had to order a new screen, I decided to send it using some of the profits off the games. We have to keep our tools up and keep everything going in here, so I am getting a new the curing machine. I had the Mercury, which was working fine. I think the lights are fairly replaceable. I should check into that as well, just so I have that. But with the time crunch and the size of stuff I do, they have the Mercury Plus, something like that, and it was on sale. And from the looks of it, it also came with a washing basin as well, so it's like a 2-in-1 machine. Now, I don't know if I'll use the washing basin or not. Probably will if it does the hyper vibrations and it works well. I'd love it, but I mostly got it because it's a bigger plate and it's a different type of light, so they should last longer. So that was okay, I'm getting the screen, and my big purchase for this round is going to be this new curing machine, since both of mine, again, have just naturally aged out. They've worked great. I think I can replace the LED stripping or the UV stripping lights on the side. I'm not an electrician. I need to find somebody else to do it at least once to show me the ropes. I don't think it'd be difficult, but time and whatever, and I needed an upgrade anyways, so I did it. And it's a bigger plate, which is awesome, because then I should be able to set an entire batch of stuff on instead of having to run multiple batches through at 9 minutes a piece or whatever it is. So that's coming. That's kind of new and neat. I always kind of like then getting to retool my workshop back there and figure out how things are going to fit and look. I'm going to do a big overhaul someday. I've done it once and got my process down. I'd like to now, with new stuff, go through it again. So that I'll probably do a video on that as well. So that might be coming. But enough of the bad and what's going on. I'm going to move on to some of the fun stuff that I also got through. So for future projects, again, since I was doing an order, I said, screw it, send it, let's do it. I got my old tried and true Milliput. This, I think, comes from across the pond. I think I found one originally in a store here, but I have since not seen it in any craft stores or Hobby Lobby, for which is how much it's used is very, very weird. It might actually be in more hardware stores, which I hadn't thought about until literally I just said it. It can be used for piping and adhesives and stuff, so might be in hardware stores. Should have thought of that. Either way, I got some. This is what I used originally when making my pieces on the ponds for trick-or-treaters. So I got that, and the stuff everybody and their brother uses, but I haven't touched once, is the green stuff. I've never used green stuff. It's very similar. Two parts you mix together, and then it hardens. And they work differently enough where I wanted both. A medium I know, a medium that works for most people. And I've actually seen people mix both with some really good results as well. What for, you ask? Well, you're just going to have to wait and see, but we've talked about it briefly. The current working title is MAM, Monsters, Aliens, and Mechs. It's probably our next really big, ambitious goal, where it's a large-scale battlefront, and none of the chants that I normally like. Phil and Steve Kruger have both really pushed for a game where, well, not really push, but would like a game where there's less chance and it's more of a certainty. And in doing that, we are going to be... I'm going to try, before having to call out and have somebody else do it, make some models. And Phil now has an app that his phone can use. I can scan these in and turn them into 3D images, and we can print them. I have some experience with prop making for theater and designs, and some medium scale miniature stuff. So the nice thing about that is I can work at a scale I'm comfortable with, and then once it's scanned and we shrink it down to normal size, we can get some really high fidelity things as long as they look cool. I think all three types of things should be something that are in my wheelhouse to design and make. I may be reaching out to others anyways, or maybe doing like a design contest or something for this. It is not something that is on the docket like right now, but it's certainly something that we are, we'll say, buying the ingredients for and testing things out as we move closer to it. So that's really exciting. So this stuff is going to help with some of the sculpting. I watch a lot of the kit bashing, and oh goodness, he does a wonderful job, and I can't remember his name right now. He has a cat with like little fork legs, making stuff with, if I can remember it, I'll post a link later. And then Blackmagic Craft and stuff are always really fun, but they use a lot of extra toys and kit bashing and pieces lying around and garbage to make some really, really neat monsters and mechs and aliens and crawling machines and stuff. So I've been very inspired by them to give it a whack. Toy Story has ruined me, though. I feel terrible cutting apart any toys without, fear of being hunted by them. So it's going to be a little bit tough for me, but some of the model kits I won't mind as much. But when I'm sawing apart dinosaurs, I might feel kind of sad about that, but we'll see. Yep, so that's, and I got some clay sculpting tools, just beginner stuff to go with it. Not sure what I'm going to need, so I got cheap basic stuff for a lot of it, just to try it out. And as usual, I'm just going to run at it with full cocksure confidence and give it a shot and see how it goes. And if it's too big, we'll hire out. If it's not, I'll do it. Last but not least is a fun side project. Now, I kind of made some mentions of this in the last video or so, and I've certainly said how I rarely print fun stuff on my printers. It's all fun for me because I make it for, my board games, but it's rare that I print something that's not related to Oak and Hollow games on there. I made a few things for my girls, a couple of scales, memory sliders for the Digimon card game. What else? I think my sister had me do a dog poop bag holder thing or whatever on it, but typically 99% of the time I'm printing games on it. But as I've mentioned 10 trillion times, one of my favorite games is Zombies by Twilight Creation, and for whatever reason, it's really, really been hearkening to me lately to get back and play it and do some stuff, and it's been on my mind to make little 3D bullets and hearts for the game. So in the game, a heart lets you re-roll a die. You have to roll a 6, and on a 4, 5, or 6, you kill a zombie that you're with. So a heart is a pure reroll, and a bullet adds a pip to your result. So if you roll a 3, you need a 4 to kill it. You only need to spend 1 bullet to get it up to 4, and that zombie's dead. If it's a 2 bullets, so on and so forth. You can spend as many bullets as you want, but once you're out of hearts, you die, and you have to restart back at the center. Some people use that as a strategy to warp themselves across the board anyways, but either way, we have a pretty fun event coming up, and I don't know if my friend who's going to be there ever even watches these. So if he does see them, surprise, I'm going to bring these, and you'll probably get some of these as well. And if not, you'll be surprised when you see them. But yeah, some 3D bullets designed off the ones that are in the little tokens in the game. Looked a little precarious until I got them painted, and even then, perhaps. And then hearts as well. There's also gut tokens. I didn't want to make this a ramble of guts, and I did made a lightning bolt, and these will be spray painted blue. We don't typically use the gut tokens when we play anyways, or we kind of stopped playing as constantly as we did once the gut tokens were out. So I'm not as concerned. I might paint these blue tomorrow or something if the weather permits. Not as upset about that. And then I might make some base plates. You can have up to 5 hearts and probably 5 bullets. So base plates for starting, you're dead, up to 5, maybe. I don't know if I need to do another one of these or not. I've been printing them again on that one little side that works, and I think this handful is probably good. But for somebody to have it come full circle, for playing that game as much as we did, and to finally make something for it, to hopefully get, when we get to play it again and add to it like that, is going to be really, really neat for me, and hopefully all my buddies who played. So yeah, I just want to share a fun side project that I'm doing as everything's limping along in the background, and I am praying that that other printer is just having a hiccup or two and we can get back on track. So yeah, this is getting a bit rambly, but we're here. You might watch, you might not. In the meantime, as that is going, I am also kicking back up drawing. I'm going to need to get my images done for Graveyard Smash. The trick-or-treaters are all done. The Zeds are all done. I might want to look over those again, see if there's anything extra I want to like add or change, and that leaves me with Geist. It took me a very long time to figure out how I wanted Geist to look, so that's what had held me up, and I just haven't had the muse to draw, and she needs to be there for me to work. But last night I took some time when I was unable to sleep, and I started off with a concept for either Midnight Manifestation or Dark Light. This would be like the picture frame, and then I wanted to almost look like it was like holding the edges of the frame, and it would be this like void inside, because it's where like all of his arms and stuff come out of and grab the trick-or-treaters, and so I might have like a star space void in there, and this was just like a quick sample sketch to see. Then I kind of moved on from that a little bit. I was going to try to do the same thing, give myself a little bit more room to work with, and then was toying with the idea of Dark Light, where the smoke kind of fades off. I don't know if you can see it, into Geist itself. And I wanted to do some cool, like, symmetrical balance things with his arms, and I had him kind of making this weird design, and it was okay. And even though it's a little bit generic, I keep coming back to the idea of it saying like shush. So then one I started working on and didn't quite get to because it was getting late. Same concept. This would be for Dark Light, where it is snuffing out a candle, which makes the essence come up and form its body, and it's gonna say shush with this hand. So one arm has come out of the ethereal plane, snuffed the light out, and the smoke has created the rest of its being, and then I'm going to probably put a couple other arms in there as well. But I thought you might like to see some early sketches on that. Maybe I'll do another drawing video sometime too. People seem to like those. So that is what I've been up to, amongst just life in general and getting used to being back home and all that jazz. I just get so excited when there's a new print coming out and a run coming out that it makes me kind of want to do everything, and sitting down and doing one thing is very difficult sometimes. But that is all I have for today. Thank you for tuning in, and for those of you who tune in a little bit later, thanks for coming back and watching this. I hope you all have a pleasant Thursday evening. I will make an update probably tomorrow, maybe tonight. I'll post on here, and I'll know whether or not my printer is in need of repair, and if that is the case, then I'll have to make an announcement that the second batch will come at another time. I'll be able to sell probably 15, 17, whatever I've made, I'll sell my first run, and then the next one will just have to wait till those are back up and running, which will hopefully only be a week or two. But I'd like to do them all at once. So, that, and maybe one more thing I'll post tomorrow, but you'll see that then. So, thanks again so much for tuning in. You have a pleasant rest of your evening, and we'll talk